like many Vikings fans, I, and specifically this channel, has been somewhat optimistic throughout this offseason, even though we've said, yes, the Vikings have had to prove it, even though they've brought in a lot of great pieces. Talk about Devlin Tomlinson, just off the top of my head also. Mainly defensive pieces, but you still love what they've done. Dalvin Tomlinson, Michael Pierce from 2 years ago, even though he opted out. Hopefully that calf is ready to go. Also Nick Vigil, Patrick Peterson. The list goes on of the pieces that they've brought in. Even Xavier Woods, who I'm actually really excited for to actually play that free safety spot while Harrison Smith is down in the box. So I'm really excited for a lot and really this season. But if we're being honest, we have to put things to the fire. We've already talked about Kirk Cousins and how this is it for him. But as a team, it has to be said that the Vikings have the most to prove in 2021. And before we get into why the Vikings have the most to prove, make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and we continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome, and we love every single one of you. Now, when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, I think a lot of Vikings fans, like myself, were clearly disappointed with last year. Didn't have Danielle Hunter in there. The defense kind of fell apart at the end. Didn't have Eric Kendricks or Anthony Barr there as well. And I'm starting to come around a little bit on Anthony Barr. I'm starting to actually come around on the man. I think that there has been a lot of times where I think Vikings fans, including myself, expected a little more out of the man. But I think his presence was really felt when it just didn't really come down to. Not just production, like his presence was definitely felt and missed when he was off the field because the Vikings, it just seemed like the defense, it just really didn't gel well. A lot more was put on Eric Kendricks, and then when he was gone, it was a whole thing. It really was. So basically what I'm seeing is, and why I'm really excited for this year is because I truly expect Anthony Barr to be able to come back and really do not only just prove his role on this defense, but really just show a lot of people why he's so important. Because there is something to be said of those guys that can come up with those X's and O's. But for the Minnesota Vikings as a team, this is it. This is the season, and they are the team that has to prove the most to me, in my mind, because you've had Mike Zimmer, you've had Rick Spielman, both of those guys in the front office there for a while now, and Mike Zimmer has been a great coach in my mind. I think he brought him to the NFC Championship game in 2017. He's had a couple of playoff appearances, won the division a couple of times, but right now, as it pertains to the Minnesota Vikings, they have the most to prove. I fully believe that. I really feel like this is the year that it has to be. And if you look at what they've done with a lot of the contract extensions they've done with their entire roster, this is it. This is really what it comes down to. And the way that they've kind of signed the players and filled each need, it's a lot of it's short term. If you ask me, you talk about the Danielle Hunter, what they did with his contract. Also the same thing with Anthony Barr. Brought in Nick Vigil on a 1-year deal. You still have Harrison Smith and Brian O'Neill on 1-year deals too, or have 1 year left on their contracts. Excuse me. So you've got a lot of these players that you brought in these rookies that I feel like are going to be able to be and provide a lot. But I think the question is if you're going to be able to plug and play them right away. That still remains to be seen. But there's a lot of things that we're excited about. We're also going to make a video about a couple of takeaways we have from the first couple of days of training camp in just a little bit. But we just wanted to get this out because it has to be said. It has to. The Minnesota Vikings have the most to prove out of anybody. Because yes, on paper, this team looks fantastic. We've already talked about it hundreds of times. Dalvin Cook in the backfield, probably one of the best wide receiving corps in the entire NFL. Irv Smith Jr. coming out looking like he's going to do something. Offensive line looks like it might come together if they get the right combination out there. Danielle Hunter back, finally. Also, DJ Awanem showed a lot last year. The interior defensive line is pumped up, ready to go. Sheldon Richardson, James Lynch. It's got some depth there. Linebackers. I'm really excited about a linebacker. He's one of the best in the game at Eric Kendricks. Anthony Barr maybe he's becoming underrated. I don't know. Maybe I could have been wrong this entire time. Cameron Dantzler, year 2. What's he gonna do? Harrison Smith, one of the best safeties of all time. I'll have this debate with anybody. Xavier Woods coming out, and I think he's going to provide a lot. Also, Patrick Peterson, all-time great as well. So if you add all this up, I truly think that the Vikings, when you put them all down on paper and take a look at this team, clearly they're loaded. It's time. So with that, I believe because of the way that Mike Zimmer has been the coach for so long, Rick Spielman's has been there for a long time as well. You have the culture in mind. You have the players. Kirk Cousins in year 4, whatever. Yeah, year 4. This is it. The Vikings have the most to prove out of any NFL team in the NFL, and I don't think it's even close. But let me know what you guys think. Which team has the most to prove this season? I think it's the Vikings, clearly. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. And we love every single one of you, and we greatly appreciate it. So, but in the description down below, you will find one of our links to all of our social media. So make sure you guys give us a follow there. Also, in the description, you will find a link to our website at thesportsbeatpodcast.com. Give us go ahead and check out all our content there. Give us a sub and a listen on iTunes as well. That's where you'll find a lot of our shorter videos as well, or our shorter listening content, or the podcast stuff there as well. So that's where you can just listen to it. Other than that, if you have anything you'd like us to cover, make sure you guys send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com, and we'd be happy to cover anything you guys have to submit for us. So with that, let us know what you think about the Minnesota Vikings having the most to prove in 2021.